Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 11 says, Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakudash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me the truth. In today's lesson, I want us to start going into how the trials and tribulations are part of this walk. And we have to learn to get into the mentality of loving to suffer. And that is something that sounds, completely ridiculous to the average person. But, once you start believing, you realize that this shit is not easy. And as it says in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1, My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Right, so we're promised. Okay, the one thing you're promised in this path is that you're going to be tempted. You're going to fall. You're going to have pitfalls. You're going to have so-called setbacks. And right when things look like they're about to get easy, they get harder. And that's just the condition of the battle that the elect have to go through. And one thing I've realized is that, it's really just to build you up. The Most High is trying to break you down so many times so that it doesn't affect you anymore as much. And it's something that, it does happen, right? The more you go through those losses, so-called losses, right? Because the losses of this world is not really a loss, right? It's just all material things. But, the more you go through it, the more you get accustomed to that fire. And just like everything, it's all in seasons. Right? The Most High will have you going through complete, struggle for maybe a couple months. And then the next couple months, He will bring you super high up. And it's just the constant ebbs and flows, right? The cycles of this life, because the Most High is a complete balance. So tribulation is part of this walk, and you have to learn to enjoy it. That's the only way to keep going. Verse 2 says, Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Right? So put your feelings to the side. Right? Stop acting emotional. Stop acting irrational. Put your feelings to the side and don't try to get out of your situation. Okay? Enjoy the fire. Feel the fire and see what the Lord is trying to show you in this trial. It says, Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Right? So you can't throw in the towel when you're in the fire. Okay? Because if you don't quit, the only other option is to win, right? Is to overcome. So that's a major key in this walk, is enduring. Okay? It says in Matthew the 24th chapter that he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And endure goes into making hard. Okay? Patience, right, goes into making you hard. These trials and tribulations, they make you harder. They make you into a tougher person. Because if you endure, then that means you overcame. And when you overcome, that means that you have a new skill, a new strength, okay, a new level to you than before. So it says, Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. And that's what I was speaking about, how whatever happens to you, take it cheerfully, right? Which goes into being happy, okay, being, smiling, being accepting in that humble position, right? Which is contrary to what the flesh wants. The flesh doesn't want to suffer. The flesh doesn't want to be at the bottom. The flesh wants, the glorification, okay, the power, the fame. That's what the flesh wants. But you got to feed into the Spirit in order to do the things of the Spirit, right? In order to combat the deeds of the flesh. And that's what it's all about, is getting your spiritual level on another, improved. So whatever happens to you, take it on the chin. Smile and thank the Lord that He is dealing with you. Because that's what it is at the end of the day, is if you're going through hell and you're doing the best you can every single day to be righteous, guess what? It's a sign that the Most High is dealing with you. because that's what's supposed to happen. And if you don't understand that, you're going to get bitter. Okay, you're going to feel like this world is out to get you. You're going to feel like you're going to get bitter, sour, and fall out if you don't understand that this is from the Lord. So accept it, keep going, because verse 5 says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." Right? So, hey, if you really believe in the Lord, He's going to put you to it. He's going to put you to the test. Right? And I've been put in that situation where I've told the Lord, hey, put me through that test and I'll show you I got faith. And let me tell you, the Most High will put you in situations to see if you got faith. Right? When you say, hey, I'll show you I got faith, that means that you're going to go through some hard ass shit, okay, to prove your faith, to see if you really don't give up when you're at the end of the end of the end. Okay, because faith is shown when you're in a situation where you don't know what to cardinally do, when you need a solution and you can't find one instantly, right? The long-term planning. Okay, that is what faith is. So that's why they say, you got to be careful what you pray for, right? Because you pray for strength, the Most High is going to put you in a position where you got to build strength, where strength is going to be builded, right? He's going to put you in a weak position. You pray for patience, the Most High is going to put you in a position where you got to wait. So, at the end of the day, it's all a training ground, and you just got to look at your situation and ask yourself, okay, what is the Most High trying to show me? Cut the feelings, cut the emotions. What is He trying to show me? And from there, once you realize and you apply the proper solutions and you do what you got to do, hey, you ultimately pass the test, and the Most High, He'll give you a little break. And then after that, He'll put you through another test, and it's the same cycle, because acceptable men are tried in the furnace of adversity. So this is what we got to go through, if you part of the elect. So back to Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 11, it says, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby." Right, so when you're going through it, it don't feel joyous. It don't feel good. It feels terrible. But after, it pulls out those righteous qualities that you're supposed to have, that the Most High wants you to have. Okay, so, you can look at it always in any situation in life. Okay, when you look back, you're like, hey, thank the Lord I went through that, because this and that. So let's go jump back up to verse 6. It says, "For whom the Lord loveth, He chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom He receiveth. If you endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons." Right? So if the Most High is dealing with you, He's going to chastise you. Okay? He's going to put you in a situation that doesn't feel good to you in order to make you better. And if you're not going through that, then it means that, you got to check yourself. And, there's the balance to it, like I said, because the Most High will have you down for a little bit, and then He'll pull you out of that fire. But if you're not going through nothing at all, ever, then you got to check yourself, because part of the walk is temptation, trials, and tribulations. So it says, "Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but He for our profit, that we might be partakers of His holiness." And this is so on point, because, I could relate it to my, situations. And when you look back, you know exactly what the Most High is trying to show you. You know exactly. Okay, and it all goes back to some type of sin, right? Whether pride versus whether greed, impatience, not being content. It always goes back to some type of attribute that He's trying to fix. And it's not easy, man. I'll put it like that. The Most High, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you're going to fail multiple times. You're going to fail. And even knowing what you're supposed to do, you'll fail. But it's all about, hey, doing the best you can to get it right. Right? Fighting, man. The good fight of faith, as it says. Let's get that. And we'll close it. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 12, it says, fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called, and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. Right? So you got to fight. Right? You got to do the best you can to beat your demons. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Right? It's demons that are upon you, that are plaguing you, that are, putting those voices in your mind and overpowering you. So, hey, be on top of the praying, be on top of the fasting, right? Those are the two things, more than two, but those are the two main things Yahweh Shai gave us in order to combat these demons, is prayer and fasting. Okay, and on top of that, faith, right? You got to really believe that the Most High is dealing with you and that you can overcome the situation that you're going into, right? You can't be in that wishy-washy spirit, in that weak-ass spirit, in that doubtful spirit, in that, I don't know spirit. Okay, scriptures say that if you pray, you got to believe that it's already happened. So, believe, right? Fight and know that the Most High is with you. Because he said, last verse of Matthew, the last chapter, and we'll close with that. He said, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. So the Most High, via his son Yahweh Shai, is with us, is with the elect. No matter where you go, the Most High, via his son Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, are there. This world is going to try to make you forget. It's going to try to make you get weak. It's going to try to make you throw in the towel. It's going to distract you, okay, with the pleasures. But don't forget that the Most High is there. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakudash. Double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Mills to that time of the truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.